Okay, so we are moving on to the expert dialogue. All right, not only we are living in a VUCA world, both for Korea and Taiwan, we are also facing the geopolitical situation. All right, so, but I remember ex-president Mandela of South Africa once said, he said, education is the most powerful weapon that can change the world. So we as educators, we should keep optimistic mind and do our work, educating our children so that the future will be better. Okay, so next, Professor Zheng is going to give us a presentation about today's topic. All right, let's give a round of applause to Professor Zheng.
Thanks so much for this opportunity to be here. And actually, I prepared 2 questions to Mia, but thanks to her, she actually already responds to all of them. So I will make it short. What have we learned from ISE? I think ISE impressed me a lot in the first place is about its leading role in the region or in the global education development. And when we look at ISE's vision's mission and even its current president's public speech, it all mentioned about the importance to leverage Koreans' educational leadership. And therefore, it occurs to me that system leaders, these ideas is in these years centers in the mainstream dialogue of educational cooperation by many international education organizations like UNESCO, and system leadership as expected to catalyze a sustaining ecosystem of educations to make the shared visions, to make learning really happen. So I actually have already learned the same thing happening in ISE. And also, as I am standing in the field of international development, so from the perspective of international developments, there might be 3 strategic implications I learned from ISE. I think the first, through the inter-cooperation, through the sharing knowledge, our common interests, our reimagination of APEC image identities can be shaped. In doing so, we have mutual recognition, we have interdependency, which lead to our nation to secure the national or even regional peace and the stability. And finally, maybe it's also important from the realist perspective. It's the position where a country or an organization located itself in the structural power relationships, which determines the degree to which the country or an organization can secure its national interests or national safety. So that's also one thing I think is good implications here. So that's the dimensions of discussion. But once again, thanks to Mia, she already answered this at the end of her speech. So thank you so much. I will take the chance to rethink a lot.
Okay, thanks, Professor Zheng. In Mia's presentation, I learned that IACE mainly is part of ecotech. That's one of the 3 pillars of APEC, right? Mm-hmm. So that's economy, technology. Mm-hmm. And I learned from your presentation that IACE goes way back when you started with e-learning as a focus.
Exactly.
All right, so e-learning, digital learning, and international education comes really together as a good integration. So can you give us a little more about e-learning as a role in international education? Thank you.
Sure, thank you. Thank you for the nice briefing of my presentations and key questions. I think the digital matters a lot in Korea from the really beginning of starting some kind of education reform by our president and 20 years ago. And after that, we have been working a lot on having the internet in every household. That was the beginning, that we have tried a lot to having Wi-Fi in every house and every school with a high speed. So what matters a lot recently in Ministry of Education Korea is they are working a lot of digitalizations of the textbook. That's the main policy that our Minister of Education, Joo-ho Lee, is trying to achieve during his period. And I think they are trying a lot, but facing a lot of difficulties. Even though we are having the internet in every household, still the speed is too low. We face the technology difficulties in schools even. To try to enhance that kind of speed, we need to put a lot of monies, and while doing that, you might see the news that a lot of parents seems angry to ministers that why you are doing what you are doing, why digital, and why our students should be exposed too early to the digital things. Why textbook are in digitalized way? We prefer paperwork, and they are inciting a lot of the research that digital doesn't helpful to students. It may give the bad effects, those kind of side effects. Of course, there's a lot of side effects, but currently, Korea trying to expand some kind of education environment, I would say. They are trying to be connected to other classrooms in other countries, and those visitors could play a key role for doing that. Of course, the essence is the contents and the curriculums matters the most, but to do and to get more opinions and to meet the students from foreign countries, we need technology. We just need the right classrooms with the high-speed Wi-Fi, and those things was the first step that we are trying to achieve from the 20 years before. So I would love to answer your follow-up questions.
All right, thanks, Mia. Yes, the era of not just technology, the era of AI has arrived. All right, so even though Korea and Taiwan are not like big populated countries in the world, but both Korea and Taiwan are like technology giants. All right, so and technology-wise, Taiwan is pretty strong in our MOE is putting a lot of effort promoting school educators and students to learn and to teach, in a different way that is best in this era of AI. So not just internet. Today, everybody has a smartphone with internet on it, so it's like everywhere. And also with AI booming, we have ChatGPT, we have Sora, we have Suno, we have Gamma, we have Canva, and so many tools out there. So maybe this area is somewhere that Korea and Taiwan can work hand in hand to make better education in the future, okay? I have one more question. In your presentation, I envy you so much because I saw in your presentation that IAC has 22 full-time research and administration personnel, 22 full-time personnel. And also, I noticed that MOE funding 99% of your budget. All right, so those are important. And since we have a representative from MOE, so I like to bring that up and I emphasize that because in schools and also in local government, everybody has their own education work to do. We are already very, very busy. So in order to, but however, so far we have been trying to do a better international education work. However, if in the future we can have some organization like IACE in Taiwan, maybe that would further assist our international education development. So have you seen, so my question to you, Mya, have you seen any other APEC members, those 21 APEC members, has something similar to IACE in Korea? Have you seen anything like that in other countries?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question. I think it might work for some economies, but it might not work for some economies at the same time as well. If there are some institutions like us in every country might benefit, or it couldn't be benefit, but so far I've seen one. So over in Human Resource Development Working Group in APEC, there are 2 APEC specialized centers. One is IACE and one is institutions from China working on higher educations. They are the 2 institutions that are recognized as the APEC Center under the HRD Working Group. So I can see only these 2 things, and other than this, it's about other working groups like ocean, environment, or technology and digital-wise, different ministries and different topics in there. Of course, there are institutions like us doing research and doing a project for their ministry, and having diplomatic things are done by them as well. So there are some institutions in APEC.
I see. All right, thank you very much. Mr. Professor, do you have any other questions? Not yet? Okay. Then I have one last question because we are running out of time. My last question is actually from Professor Zhang Shengru. He was supposed to be here, but he was tied up in his school. I once read an article from Professor Zhang Shengru about education diplomacy. All right, so from your point of view, education diplomacy, how is it a factor or is it a motivation for schools or for MOE or for government to promote further in international education?
I think that was really interesting questions from Professor Zhang. Yeah, and our chairman, who was the previous ambassador to Finland, always mentioned that education diplomacy matters a lot. Even though it's not having tangible things, education diplomacies could always do some baseline works. If Korea are having upcoming bilateral meetings, let's say, with United States, then it might benefit to have a student exchange record before starting the conversation. So maybe the president of both countries could mention that 600 students have went to your countries, and 6 maybe events was co-hosted by your ministry's workers and our ministry's workers. That could be a great start to start this conversation. And always it's good to have a friend in foreign countries if our students have a lot of network in our countries, and it's our personal diplomacies, I think, personal diplomats in other countries. I think it always could benefit Korea, my countries, and in this case, if Taiwan is having a lot of exchanges. They are sending a lot, inviting a lot. They are already dispatching the student diplomats to worldwide, and it will benefit Taiwan for sure, I think.
Okay, thank you, Mya. I'm actually very expecting what you just said. Yeah, and so education diplomacy or public diplomacy, or what you said about personal diplomacy, that's really something that Taiwan, we needed because of the, special political issues or geopolitical situation is changing, especially since the presidential election in the USA. So we are facing a VUCA world. Everything is uncertain. Therefore, I think education diplomacy is another reason that we can strongly encourage our government to consider to form an organization similar to IACE, so that not only we can do our education work better, but also it would help Taiwan's diplomacy or diplomatic situation in the world. All right, thank you. Any other things? Oh, you agree? Okay.
I just have one more comment.
Yes,
and
please.
To what you shared, that education diplomacy is, I think it's not about the protocol to following the Minister of Foreign Affairs like that, not like that, right?
Right.
So what I would want to address is Taiwan is really doing great. I'm not just saying this. Taiwan has a lot of records, and they are sharing their projects during our APEC projects. The most slides are presented. It means that they are building a lot, they are having a lot of events, and they are inviting a lot. It doesn't only mean people are coming or going. It means that they are having discussions and they are planning for new initiatives, and they are planning for the bilateral meetings between other countries. It means a lot. I think what you are doing currently is just perfect, and you can keep going. I think IACE internally often talks about a lot Taiwanese education cooperations, and Korean teachers also mention a lot of Taiwanese teachers. They feel nervous if they have to cooperate with Taiwanese teachers. They are precise, perfect on time, and they prepared. So it makes Korean teachers to grow as well. So what I might dare not to say, but the last step that you, Taiwan's peoples or international education could go forward is promote more and just make it as an official record and spread it worldwide, and just keep continuing doing what you are doing.
Right.
So education diplomacy is already the key assets of Taiwanese, I think.
All right, thank you, Mya. What Mya told us is, if the government, Taiwan government, is going to form an organization, even though maybe 99% or 100% of funding is from MOE, but please, MOE, let this organization to run independently and professionally, all right? And
also play the role as the system leaders to make the system change.
Right,
yes.
right. And as the bridge for all the educators in Taiwan, as a bridging us to the global world, okay? All right, thank you, Ms. Song and Professor Zheng, for sharing your valuable insights and experiences with us. Taiwan government actually started International Education 1.0 project since 2011. So principals and teachers, we have been working very heavily to cultivate our students for international mindedness. Now it's no longer 1.0, it's 2.0, and probably 3.0 is coming. But as you said, the beauty and value of global exchange program, and also a keynote like today, is really helpful for us to learn from one another and thrive together. Even though efficiently and effectively implementing international education remains a big challenge. But again, once we have friends in global countries, we believe everything will be better. So thanks again for Ms. Song and Professor Chen for your contributions. Wish everyone a wonderful day ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.